Good morning, everyone. I'm talking trigrams. It's the 25th of March 2021, and had a bit of an early start this morning, up at 3 o'clock. Mind you, I went to bed early last night at 8 o'clock, so I had a good sleep, you could say, and was pondering trigrams as I do, and I thought, well, I'd cast myself a hexagram to see if I can come up with this treatment strategy for myself before I started my day. And I came up with, I'll just get an annotator up. I came up with this hexagram, which is Jun Thunder underneath Shun Wind, which can be called increasing. And the fifth line was the moving line, you could say. So when it moved, it created or was assisted, you could say, by this second hexagram, which is nourishing, which is Gun Mountain over Jun Thunder. So the inner trigram remains the same, and the central line of the outer trigram changed to nourishing. So I'm thinking, well, what is it? Where do we get this idea of increase come from? And just down here, there's a little breakdown on some of the correspondences in Chinese medicine to each trigram. So some of you will understand this, some of you won't, but for those who do, this is just a little bit of extra information. But one of the things I wanted to share or contemplate, you could say, about these two trigrams is when we look at King Wen's sequence, we have the Jun Thunder trigram here and the Shun Wind trigram here, and this is related to the east aspect. So it's the rising sun, and I don't know if you can see this little bit of light in the background behind me. We've had a lot of rain overnight, but this is the emerging sun as it starts to come through. And I did my treatment at 5 AM as well, so it was right at the time of in the meridian sequence of the large intestine. And this, as we'll see in a minute, also corresponds to the large intestine. But we can see as the rising energy comes through the yang wood through to the yin wood is the morning energy. So we can see the connection to increasing energy within this system. And if we just go back up to the Fuxi sequence, or down to the Fuxi sequence, it was pointed out that what do these abbreviations mean? Well, if you haven't studied Chinese medicine, they probably won't mean much at all. But basically, Li here is large intestine, and we read these trigrams from the inside outwards. So this is the Jun Thunder trigram, and Lu equals lung. So this is the Shun Wind. So in the Fuxi sequence, we have this diagonal connection of the wind or the wood trigrams, and this also represented of the white part of the yang nature. We can see that the large intestine, or the Jun Thunder trigram, also is at the beginning of this yang increase, whereas the trigram for Shun Wind is the start of the yin increasing. So the yang rises here up to midday, and then the yang reaches its peak and then starts to give way to the yin energy as it moves through. So I was thinking, well, what meridians, or what's my intention? What do I want to get out of the treatment? And I looked at the possibilities of the meridian association. So each meridian has one of what's called the 8 primary hexagrams, which is a doubling up of their associated trigram. So for the large intestine, we have the double Jun Thunder, and for the spleen, we have the double fire trigram. And if we just quickly come back to Fuxi, we can see that the spleen here relates to the fire trigram, large intestine to Jun Thunder. And when we align the hexagram of increasing with the large intestine, we can see that the bottom three polarities are identical, but the upper three are in opposition. So in acupuncture, that means if I needled the 4th, 5th and 11th points on the large intestine meridian, I would actually transform that meridian into this hexagram. And I had a little bit of tightness in my sacroiliac region on the right side. What I did was I needed a large intestine 4, and then in between large intestine 4 and large intestine 5 is the master dung point called Lingu, which is very effective for the lower aspect. So from the belly button downwards, front and back, it's useful to move energy in that area. So I also need a Lingu. And when we put the spleen next to the hexagram of nourishing, we can see that it's the 3rd and the 4th lines that are out of polarity, which is the 3rd and the 4th points on the spleen channel. So that gave me 1, 2, 3, Lingu, 4, 5, 6 points. And I wanted to align my energy with the rising, the morning energy and the alignment of my heart. So I also added yin tang at the point here, which gave me 7 points in total. And I'm not sure if I got the numbering on these charts here. No. No, unfortunately I haven't, but the number 7 is what's called the accomplished number of fire. So I'm connecting that treatment in with the fire element as well. And of course the spleen 4 is the command point of the Chungmo. And so my intention was to honour my ancestors with the Chungmo point and the nourishment of the Shu stream point on the spleen channel. And the Shu stream points are connected in some ways, we could say, to the earth element, to the center, to centering myself. And then because it was a large intestine time, the alignment here was how can I increase nourishment within myself, but also within my family and within my community. So I thought I'd just share a little video with you guys this morning. Be interested to hear from all aspects of understanding through the trigrams, not just through the Chinese medical perspective, but through others that also understand how trigrams move and their interpretations. And wishing you all a magical day or night if you're in the other hemisphere. And yeah, have an awesome time. I'm looking at myself. Have an awesome time. And I'll see you next time.